Hey there, entrepreneur. Welcome back to another fascinating episode of Fascinating Founders. I'm your host, Nicole Holland, and I'm thrilled to be your guide as we dive in and uncover the stories that came before the success of some of the world's most fascinating founders. Hailing from a multitude of industries and socioeconomic starts, you're going to learn what's made these fascinating men and women realize their dreams from an inspired idea to millions in revenue, disrupting, innovating, and impacting humanity for the better. Today's episode is brought to you in part by Podcasting Goldmine. Are you reaching and converting your ideal buyers through podcasts yet? You'd better believe that your competition is. The podcast industry is exploding right now, with billions of dollars being poured into it and well over 1 million active podcasts in the directories. In just the past 90 days alone, hundreds of thousands of new podcasts have been added, and the industry will continue to grow whether or not you're a part of it. Your market, my friend, is listening to podcasts, and I would love to personally help you design a strategic podcast marketing plan to help your company scale and reach your business growth goals through podcasts. From getting you featured as the expert guest on premium podcasts that your ideal buyers are already listening to designing and launching a profitable podcast for your company, to show sponsorship and advertising. Podcasting for business growth is totally my jam. If you're ready to take a serious look at how you can effectively leverage podcasts for business growth, visit podcastinggoldmine.com and request a complimentary consultation for us to explore how we can make podcasts work for you. Again, that URL is podcastinggoldmine.com. Now, you never know what we're going to get into on an episode of Fascinating Founders. So get your notebook ready, cozy up with a great cup of joe, and let's dive into another inspiring journey with today's guest. Dr. Kelly Starrett is a coach, physical therapist, author, and speaker. Along with his wife, Juliet, Kelly is co-founder of The Ready State. The Ready State began as Mobility WOD in 2008 and has gone on to revolutionize the field of performance therapy and self-care. Kelly's clients include professional athletes in the NFL, NBA, NHL, and MLB. He also works with Olympic gold medalists, Tour de France cyclists, world and national record holding Olympic lifting and power athletes, CrossFit Games medalists, ballet dancers, military personnel, and competitive age division athletes. Kelly is the author of the New York Times and Wall Street Journal bestsellers Becoming a Subtle Leopard and Ready to Run. He is also co-author with Juliet of the Wall Street Journal bestseller Deskbound. His latest book, Waterman 2.0, offers water sport athletes a comprehensive guide to optimized movement and pain-free performance. Kelly and his work have been featured on 60 Minutes, The View, The Joe Rogan Experience, CBS Sports, Outside Magazine, Men's Health, Men's Journal, and dozens of other podcasts, magazines, and books, including Tim Ferriss's The 4-Hour Body and Tools of Titans. On top of co-founding The Ready State, Kelly and Juliet also started San Francisco CrossFit and Stand Up Kids together. Welcome to the show, Juliet and Kelly. Let's kick things off with you guys giving our listeners a quick overview about what you and your company do and the market that you serve.
Very simple. Thanks for having us. The Ready State is basically an online platform where we try to teach and empower people how to take care of their bodies, how to make themselves feel better, how to move better. And it encompasses an entire digital platform of coaching, training, remote coaching. We've been doing this for a minute, and we see that there's a big hole in the world in terms of people understanding how they move and how to make themselves feel better.
And as far as the market we serve, our core audience is people who are athletic in some form or fashion. Although we do actually serve up a lot of content on how to take care of your body and how to manage your own pain and injuries. So broadly speaking, our audience is anyone who has a body and wants to take care of it.
I love it. And the way that I first learned about you, actually, I started doing CrossFit. For anybody who's been with me a while, you guys know I've gone on my own health journey and lost like 60 pounds and overcame some autoimmune issues. And when I was in it and I was in that ill state, I could not even lift like a casserole dish. I was so broken physically, emotionally, everything. And once I got control of my health and I was able to lose some weight and I was able to get healthier through the help of Western medicine, I was able to really focus on, okay, now let's go to mind, body, and everything. And so I joined a CrossFit gym, having never done CrossFit before, but it was right down the street from my house. I could walk there. I put that into my routine. I thought, this is what I need to do. So I started learning CrossFit from my coach, Tony, over at Coach House Fitness, or Coach House CrossFit, I think. And when he started working with me, it was all about healing your body, and you have the power to do that. And he was always talking about the subtle leopard, and we had charts of Kelly everywhere, old charts, and he would like revere Kelly. And it's so funny because I had been hearing about Kelly for all this time before I actually met you, Juliet. So just the personal side note there, like I am such a fan of what you do, and I was so in pain and broken and unhealthy when I first started implementing the things that the Ready State teaches. So I just wanted to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. And let me just say that I think that's a really normal, common expression of being a human being, is that you do everything that society tells you to do. We eat the way we were taught to eat. We sleep the way we just sort of figure it out. And all of a sudden we can do that for a long time. And then something stops working, or you find yourself sort of in the hole. You realize, holy moly, maybe I'm not doing any of the things as well as I could. And any one of those things, sleeping more, walking more, mobilizing, can have a huge impact on the way you feel. And more importantly, your ability to control how you feel.
100%. And I needed some support in seeing that. And again, I'm just blown away by the way that the mobility stuff you do. And I know we haven't even gotten into this yet. It's just like glowing recommendation for the Ready State. The way I started, I had no, even though I used to be a licensed massage therapist and I know how the body works, there were all these things that I learned through Kelly's teaching of it to everybody, I guess. And my coach's implementation of it and teaching me about this mobility stuff and being able to literally heal something in my body that I used to believe needed to be dealt with by doctors or surgery or whatever. So yeah, I love what you guys do. I love the degree that you share it. Kelly, you mentioned that you guys have been doing it for a minute. Let's go back to the very beginning of how the Ready State started. So can you guys take us back and give us a little overview of that?
Sure thing. I'll start with that one just because I enjoy this story so much. But we actually started off as a company called Mobility WOD, and WOD stands for Workout of the Day, and we have since changed our name to the Ready State. But way back in 2008, we also own a CrossFit gym called San Francisco CrossFit, which was the 21st CrossFit, as a side note. And Kelly is a physical therapist, as he mentioned, and he had a physical therapy practice inside of our gym. And what he started seeing between 2005 and 2008, when Mobility WOD first began, was kind of the same sets of musculoskeletal problems day in and day out. Shoulder pain, hip pain, low back pain, knee pain, some pretty standard things that he saw over and over and over again. In fact, it kind of became a joke between the two of us as he would come home at night and say, okay, I saw this person with this and this and this, what would you do to fix them? And I started becoming like an armchair physical therapist myself. But what I think Kelly realized and saw at the beginning was that most of these musculoskeletal injuries he was seeing were often based in poor movement, and not only based in poor movement at the root cause, but also something that these people could literally fix on their own. So what he was seeing is people taking 2 hours out of the middle of their workday, paying $150 or $200 an hour out of pocket for Kelly to work on them and fix them. And all of these things are things that people, in his view, could do on their own, both by learning how to move better and by learning how to take care of their musculoskeletal health. So that was really the origin of it. Kelly decided to make a video on YouTube at the very beginning of YouTube, the dawn of YouTube. And he made a single video. We didn't tell anyone. We just put it out on the web. And all of a sudden people started watching it. Is that a fair backstory, Kelly? What do you have to add?
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the things that we've always set out to do is we didn't set out to actually build a business. We set out to solve a set of problems. And I mean, Juliet is an attorney. I'm a physical therapist. We did not have training or even sort of ideations about being entrepreneurs or running a gigantic company. And here we are. Juliet is a very sophisticated CEO, and we had to learn and pick up those skills sort of post facto, because for us, it was about, hey, let's improve this aspect and serve our community. And we've heard that story over and over again, but for us, it's really true. Let's solve this problem for me. Let's solve it for our athletes and the athletes we know. And then that snowballed into realizing that we saw something and an opportunity to serve more people.
And I just want to add one more piece of the story, and that is that first video became what we called the Mobility Project, where we published a video a day for 365 days. I think it might have taken us like 17 months actually or something to actually get a video of the day out. But we put all these videos up for free on YouTube, literally just as education for people to learn how to move and take care of their bodies. And there was literally nothing like it out there. There was no content like it. And again, at this point, it wasn't a business. We were making no money off of it. We still didn't have any idea that it would become a business, but we saw these problems over and over again in the clinical setting and thought, man, people should be able to fix this stuff on their own. Let's make some videos.
Amazing. So you led with the value. You were solving the set of problems that you were seeing with your own clients and with people, I guess, who came to the gym as well, and just decided to help them, just put out that free content. I love that you did 365 videos so that there's one a day, and that you just told us it may have taken 17 months. I think sometimes we get caught up in the have-to-dos and think, okay, it's got to be perfect. And especially with content creation and content publication, I think especially online, it's something that a lot of people struggle with. What did you find then once you had put this content out, you knew it was going to be helpful? How did it become a business? Like, how did you go from just putting out free content to deciding to make money from it?
I just want to make a quick sidebar and say that our content was definitely not flashy. I was the videographer and I'm terrible at it. Our audio was terrible. We filmed most of the videos with poor lighting in our garage. But, I will say that often if you have good content, people don't care about all that stuff. I mean, obviously our video quality has improved dramatically since then. And, they're edited and have logos and flashy stuff and great audio and so forth. But, I think people just really resonated with the content itself and were willing to sort of overlook the poor quality of the content because it was so good.
I think too, the fact that you had been serving people in a way nobody was serving before. And I think that's something we can get caught up now today too, is like, oh, well, there's all these people on YouTube and how do I stand out? And sometimes it really is just being real, and not sometimes. I think often it is just like being real and just doing the thing. You can't expect to get, graduate level results when you're, starting out in kindergarten level of being able to hold the phone and do the different things. But I think you guys started this at a different time, obviously, when nobody else was doing it. But I think
Right.
something worth mentioning to our listeners is, if there's something that you do in a special way that others are not doing, like taking this inspiration, whether it's YouTube video or anything else, but the consistency is what I love that you did, and that it didn't have to be perfect starting out, and that you knew you wanted to do a full year's worth of daily videos, but you took longer than a year to do it. And it's like,
We may be at like 4,000 videos now through the site. And, it's difficult to imagine the time, but, the iPhone didn't have a video camera at the time. I mean, that's how long ago it was started. And what I would admonish people is to get started. It's easier now. The barrier to entry, there are better microphones and easier cameras and easier uploads. And, but the thing to do is we were very transparent. Juliet and I both had 3 jobs between us, 2 children. And, this wasn't just sort of a passion project. And the key, I think, is to get started, and then you can improve and practice. And I can't watch those early videos. I'm just terrible. I mean, and
they're all still on YouTube, by the way.
There's nothing like lots and lots and lots of reps. And then you also get immediate feedback. You have to look at this as this conversation with the people that you're working with and trying to help. And, I think a lot of our success came from people finding out, hey, this was really useful. This was less useful. You have to develop a thick skin as soon as you kind of go out into the digital marketplace. But, I think that initial practice, we are very, very grateful for that we had opportunity to just make so many mistakes.
Well, I was actually going to answer your question about how we turned it into a business. And, we continued, by the way, after the mobility project ended, we continued making videos, not quite on such a breakneck pace, but we continued making videos all the way up into 2011 and 2012. And in between that time, we actually developed a few courses around this, and Kelly started traveling around the world teaching what was a very popular course called Movement and Mobility. And so he was traveling and teaching all over the world these methods that we'd started in our YouTube channel. And we wanted to continue making content, but we honestly did reach a point where we thought, okay, if we want to actually up the quality of our video and actually hire professionals to be able to help us make this content and sort of meet people where they are in an changing and dynamic digital environment, we actually need to be making at least a little bit of money on this. And so we, debated whether we wanted to just do straight advertising on our videos and stay on YouTube, but we decided to try out a membership platform. And it was pretty special at that point because honestly, in 2012, the only people that were charging for content on the internet were like the New York Times and porn, honestly. And so in the health and fitness business, nobody else had a membership site. So it was a big risk for us. But, we started off just thinking, oh man, if we can just get 500 people to subscribe to our site, we can get a nice camera and maybe someone to help us with the audio and just some basic stuff. So again, even though we turned it on as a membership site in 2012 or 13, we still weren't really thinking that it would grow the way it has and that it would become the business that it has. We just really wanted to kind of up our game and make it sustainable for us as a family. So that was sort of how we turned it into a business. Again, did not have a business plan or real serious ideas of making it into a big, huge business like it has become.
I love that. So it was really organic and just that recognition of, okay, we want to keep doing this and it's helping people, and the passion project can only take so much of your time and you needed to be able to make some money. So you launched that first membership site. Can you talk a little bit about, number one, how you let people know, and number two, kind of what was the result? So today, there's membership sites everywhere, and people, I hear a lot in my space, they either struggle with getting people into, quote, getting people into their membership site, so having people join as members, or they have like just a constant flow. And I'd love to know in the early days, how was that? I know you guys now absolutely have a constant flow. I'd love to know in the early days, how did you market it? How did you get that first 500 people? And any takeaways that you can offer our listeners?
Well, I know we made some kind of an announcement, and it was so long ago now that I don't know if we did that by email or what exactly we did. And, I was really nervous when we sort of pressed go on the paid site. And I will be honest that I was like overwhelmingly pleasantly surprised. I think Kelly was too. I think we thought we'd get a lot of negative feedback. And I swear we got like 2 people who complained. And I know we promoted it on Facebook, and Instagram didn't exist yet. So we put it out on whatever social platforms we were using. And we got a couple of negative comments. But what was super interesting is we didn't even have to go in and defend. Our fans actually went in and like hardcore defended us against the detractors. And they all basically said, hey, these guys have been putting out amazing content for free, and of course they should charge. And I'd happily pay $9.99 for this, 10 times over. And so it was interesting because there was a very small amount of negative feedback, and we actually didn't have to engage at all because we had sort of developed this big and very loyal fan base. People were both happy to pay and also happy to defend us against any detractors.
And one of the things I'd just add to that is, at no point did we ever be like, we didn't just turn on the internet and be like, okay, we've made it. I started teaching a course in 2008. We taught 4 courses a month, twice, 2 weekends a month we taught, plus all of the other ancillary speaking engagements, helping with organizations trying to unravel sort of these musculoskeletal problems and health problems. We worked, and we didn't say no to anything. And so what we realized early on was that creating an ecosystem, we have our test kitchen, we have our teaching hospital in the city at our gym. We had this sort of online international teaching platform, and we did all these other things and wrote on the blog a lot, really trying to help people solve their own problems. So we saw that there was no one thing that made it the whole system. We continue to just see it as part of the whole sort of organism.
Yeah, and we continue to make content on YouTube throughout all this time. So, we continue to seed free, easy, accessible content, and simultaneously had this membership platform. So I think we were able to get a lot of people in the door right away, way more than we expected, partly because we had literally spent nearly 5 years up to that point sort of creating an audience and giving people content that helped them and made them feel better, which then created a loyal audience. But one story I wanted to tell, and you'll probably remember this because you were there. I think what they call what we were doing then now content marketing. That's like the digital marketing term. But, I was just at Traffic and Conversions last year with you, and there was this big, flashy, amazing presentation all about all the current amazing, awesome trends in digital marketing. And Kelly and I were expecting to be like blown away by all these new things you could do. And Ryan Dice, the CEO of the company, is like, the new thing in digital marketing is content marketing. You should have a blog and a podcast and give away amazing free content to people. And we sort of chuckled and like elbowed each other in the audience because we thought, man, this is what we've been doing all along. And we thought that, we were supposed to be doing all these super secret ninja digital marketing things. And really, we've come full circle in the digital world where the advice now is do what we were doing back in 2008. Keep doing that.
Yeah. I think sometimes people get caught up, and actually not sometimes. I see this so much, and I know I've been guilty of it. And I just want to like shake and hug people because oftentimes we're doing exactly what we should be doing, but we have all this messaging coming at us from in terms of like marketing and everything. Got to do this to grow your business now. Oh, this is the thing. This is the thing, and it's like just keep doing you. Like just stay consistent, stay focused on your people and grow through that rather than looking externally at all the other things, because that'll like keep us spun out. That'll keep us focusing on like, okay, I got to do this now. I got to do this now. And so I loved that you had that realization, especially because we had a conversation prior to that where I thought, well, maybe like, what are you looking for? Right? Like, what are you looking to do? Because I see you guys as doing everything that I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I did that. I wish I did that. So, you guys are amazing. And I wonder if you can give us a little bit about today. So all these years of putting it in, and there were also, in addition to what you said, I know books involved as well. And you just put in the heavy lifting for so long.
I'm sorry, have we stopped heavy lifting?
Doing your rebrand.
I think one of our old coaches used to say, the grind is the glam. I mean, it doesn't stop. We have become much more sophisticated. And, Juliet has probably the highest work tolerance, work pain tolerance of anyone I've ever met. But what ends up happening is there's never a place where like, we've made it. We just have a growth mindset and we go to work every day and do the thing that we love and we're good at. And it's going to take a long time.
And I would like to add too that we are not immune from a little bit of that, like, oh my God, we should be doing this.
Yes.
I should be doing Facebook Messenger marketing or whatever other 5,000 things.
Random acts of marketing
that you can think of. I in particular am not immune from that. I think if you are running a business today, it's impossible not to be at least a little bit influenced by all of that.
For sure. And I think that my takeaway from what you've done and also what I've seen in others in terms of content marketing and getting out there, it's like, yes, there are a million different things. There's the messenger, there's there's the podcast guesting, which of course I am a huge fan of and I'm going to keep shooting the horn of. But we, I think sometimes forget, like, just go deeper, just keep doing what's working. There's always going to be a new thing. And you guys have kept doing, even though you see what else is going on. I'm sure you've gotten inspiration and been like, oh, how can we add this to what's already working? So you just finished a rebrand from Mobility WOD to the Ready State, which was a lot of fun as a spectator to see.
Let someone have fun.
Oh my gosh. You can't say that, Kelly, because I saw the videos. So
we did have a lot of fun making those videos, I will say.
So, and it was a big job. And so can you talk a little bit about that before we wrap up is really like what made you decide it's time for this big rebrand, and how did you eat the elephant, and what are you like now on the other side of it? Any takeaways, any lessons, any best tips that you can share?
I'll say, first of all, that it was really 2 years in the making. We saw an opportunity to reach more people, to expand our message that, this isn't just about athletes. It's about your mom's knee pain and your kids' feet. Sort of panning back, we had a minute to sort of reimagine our user experience, reimagine how we delivered content, because we had 10 years of experience. So we're very, very lucky. And I'll also just add that we had a couple other friends go through these gigantic transitions. And when we said to them over 2 years ago, hey, we have this idea, they were like, okay,
get ready.
Right, get ready. And then I basically turned to Juliet and I was like, you got this? Good. and really, I'll let Juliet talk about the rest, but she is the architect and the brain behind this thing. And the reason it worked is because of Juliet.
Well, thank you. And there was a lot of people who worked really hard on it, not just me, but I think we changed our name. I think Kelly alluded to a little bit, but because we felt like Mobility WOD, especially the WOD part of it, was confusing. I can't tell you how many conversations I had where I'm like, yes, I own a company called Mobility WOD. And people are like, WOD, W-A-D, mobility. And I would find myself spelling it out and saying W-O-D, workout of the day. And we found that it just was really too much of a niche term and sort of associated with CrossFit. We obviously own a CrossFit, or fans of CrossFit, but the work we're doing really goes way beyond athletes, as Kelly said. I mean, if your mom has knee pain, we have content that can help your mom, even if she's never done anything athletic. So we actually felt like our name was sort of limiting us and also probably deterring a certain number of people from coming in the door because they thought, that's for athletes, not for us. We had a big team and it was a lot of work, and Kelly's right. It was 2 years in the making, very complicated. It definitely did not go smoothly. We sort of thought maybe like another 100 people would subscribe when we launched, and within like the first 3 hours, something like 4,000 people subscribed, and then our website broke. So it wasn't pretty. And it's been really fun though to talk to other company founders since then. All of whom were like, "Oh my God, when I launched, my website broke." And I don't know if you saw in the news, but Disney just relaunched their site and it broke, and was actually down for 48 hours after they launched. So we certainly are not perfect, and we struggled to get it right at the beginning, but people have really received it well. And in fact, it's only 3 months that we've been the Ready State, and it feels like we've always been the Ready State.
Absolutely awesome. Sorry, I'm like, there's a bit of a pause there because I'm sitting here taking notes. This has been a blast, and I'm aware of the time, and I would love to talk to you guys forever, but we do need to wrap. I want to make sure that my listeners know, first of all, where they can continue the conversation with you, how they can continue the conversation with you, all the things. And of course, any final words of wisdom that you would like to leave us with, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, I'll let Kelly do the words of wisdom, but people can find us at thereadystate.com. We are also on all the socials at The Ready State. And what words of wisdom do you have, Kells?
As you start to untangle or realize suddenly that you're going to be 100 years old and your knees hurt and you're 39, there is hope for you. One thing we say is that muscles and tissues are like obedient dogs. There's never a time where human beings don't stop healing. You're going to always be able to heal, always be able to improve the environment. And it's a lot less sophisticated than you think. We used to fly on those airplanes. It was Virgin America, and the touchscreen said, touch anywhere to begin. And really, you can come into the conversation with your body anyway, through walking, through yoga, through Pilates, grab a ball, roll something out that feels hurt. And just keep in mind that you've got your whole life to improve the system. It really is that easy.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much for being here. And there you have it. Thanks again for tuning in. I do realize that there are about a million other things you could have been doing over the past half hour, and the fact that you chose to spend it listening to this podcast means the world to me. I would love to know what your biggest takeaway from today's episode was, so feel free to send it on social, tagging me at the Nicole Holland on Facebook or Instagram, or send me a message from my website, fascinatingfounders.com. You'll also find show notes with the transcript from this and all other past and future podcast episodes on the website. That URL once more is fascinatingfounders.com. Thanks to my podcasting goldmine team for the production of today's episode, and a special shout out to Effie Ceruti for composing the intro and outro music for this season. If you're looking for custom composed music for your own podcast or any other aspect of strategy, design, or production for your existing or new podcast, the Podcasting Goldmine team can help. Give us a ring at 218-GET-SEEN or contact us through the website for a custom quote. And once again, if you are ready to explore effectively leveraging podcasts for business growth, visit podcastinggoldmine.com and request a complimentary consultation to explore making podcasts work for you. Again, that URL is podcastinggoldmine.com. Coming up on Fascinating Founders, I'm excited to introduce you to more fascinating men and women who've taken their inspired idea and against all odds have grown it into a multi-million or billion-dollar enterprise. Until next time, this is Nicole Holland signing off.